Hi everybody, this is Lara at Pure Elliott Wave. I'm going to update my Ethereum and XRP Elliott Wave analysis with you, and then we'll take a quick look at classic analysis and see how much support or lack thereof there is for these Elliott Wave counts. I'm starting my Ethereum wave count now down here. This is the low in October 2015 at 0.4209. From this low to this high I see an impulse, and I've added some notations on this monthly chart for Ethereum. I'm wanting to look at the length of the third waves in relation to its third waves in its price history. This third wave is 19.36 times the length of its first wave, and within primary wave 3, intermediate wave 3 is 18.24 times the length of intermediate wave 1, and then intermediate 5 is longer than 3 as well. And I see that pattern repeated over and over in these cryptocurrencies. 1, 2 is relatively deep, 3 is a lot longer than 1, and then 4, and then 5 is longer than 3 as well, but not as much longer than 3 as 3 was to 1. So my question is this a third wave possibly over here? Could this be complete? And do I need to move the degree of labelling down? Let's go down to the weekly chart level. So here, if the third wave is over, it's only 15.27 times the length of its counterpart first wave, whereas here this was 19 times. So I think for Ethereum this actually does look okay. But my next question is the fourth wave over? We've had a big upward move here, and it has some strength, and it's looking like a new impulse, and this wave down here certainly looks like a zigzag. Let's take a look at the daily chart of this possible triangle structure. So my last analysis was expecting upward movement. My target was 3831.4, and it's reached 3836.87 so far. So it's reached the target and a few cents extra. And what's going to happen next? This really does look like a fourth wave triangle in here. So I want to label this like this. Let's get rid of this. I don't think this is the right wave count anymore. I think this is an impulse unfolding higher. Could this be a running triangle in here? Let's get this out of the way. No. I'd want to see this starting here. And I think maybe this fifth wave was an ending diagonal. Let's expand that out and see if that works. Okay, the wavelengths work. Do the trend lines work? Yeah, that actually does work quite nicely. Okay, that'll do. This triangle looks pretty good. Although I suspect this high may have occurred before this low. It's impossible to tell. It's kind of academic. I'll leave it here. Oh yeah, that looks really good. The triangle trend lines are tested here and here and here and here. Yeah, that looks like a really good triangle. Okay, so now looking at the bigger structure for this possible continuing primary 4. I'm just not so happy with the proportion between minute wave 4 and minute wave 2. Minute wave 4 lasting 14 sessions, minute wave 2 over in just one session. This looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with a fourth wave triangle. This looks like a new impulse. Okay, I think I'm going to have to consider both possibilities of primary 4 being over and primary 4 continuing. First of all, let's squish this up. I'm going to check my... I want to view the daily chart on a arithmetic scale, not a semi-log scale. I'm just going to get rid of these arrows and label this potentially over for this wave count. C would have to be over there because this would be a test of the AC trend line. C can't move beyond the end of A. Let's get rid of that target. Looks like it might be met, but we have absolutely zero evidence of a trend change, so this is highly provisional, and I don't like the look of that. So I'm going to create an alternate. I'm going to base it on this wave count, and I'm going to move the degree of this labeling up 1 degree. And where's my primary 4? I'm going to label this. Let's get rid of all of this and consider. Oh no, okay, if I do that, then I go back to the weekly chart. Now I've got primary 2 lasting 37 weeks and primary 4 only 5. That's wrong. So what I then need to do, and Motive Wave makes this kind of easy, I need to disconnect the 3 and 4 from these labels within it. And bring them over here, and I'm going to move everything in here down 1 degree. So I need to move all this down 1 degree, and this down 1 degree. And then I need to bring in an impulse, label it at intermediate degree. Bring it up close to this label here. Let's start this here. And this could be intermediate 1 within primary 3, and 2 could be a zigzag. Okay, now let's just bring this down so I can see it when I move back down to the daily chart level. There we go. Let's bring this back up. Okay, so now I've moved everything down 1 degree. Now we're looking at only intermediate wave 1. So if we look at the weekly chart, I'd be saying primary 1, primary 2, and now within primary 3, intermediate 1, intermediate 2. That's my alternate idea. I hope that makes sense without me showing you that idea on a weekly chart, because now I want to focus in on this daily chart movement. What scale have I got here? Yeah, I want my daily chart on arithmetic scale, and higher time frames for these cryptocurrencies need to be on a semi-log or log scale. Someone asked me, why am I using a semi-log scale? Pretty simply, that's what Motive Wave offer. I have got semi-log or arithmetic. That's it. That's all I got. So that's what I use. Okay, not sure where I'm going to put my invalidation point yet. Maybe back down here. Excuse me. I didn't say you could do that. Motive Wave, what are you doing? Okay, let's put that here. Sorry about the background noise. That's the gardener doing gardening things as they do. World's most annoying noise, weed eaters. Okay, now I want to see this as maybe minor wave 1. This is what I'm seeing. I'm going to put minor wave 1. I don't think it's over yet, but I think this could be a 5th wave. When these cryptocurrencies see these vertical movements, that's usually the end or close to the end. Now I want to see, oh, how do I see this on this chart? Oh yeah, okay. Got it. Put this here and here, and then the subdivisions in here. Yeah, okay, now what did I see that second wave as? I didn't. It's academic now anyway. So I want to see this as a 4th wave triangle. So now we've got a 4th wave triangle and a 2nd wave. It's probably a zigzag. I think I can see this in here. Let's put that in. Oh, nope, I think it'll be here. Let's see if the impulse here works for A. Yeah, it looks alright. Pretty much. Let's put some labels in for the 3rd wave. Is that going to work? Actually, yeah, there's more than one way to see this. Nope, I'm going to put this here, like that, and then I can see it's actually kind of hard to think with that noise. I don't like it. Yeah, that looks good. Pretty much. I don't know about this. This looks like a zigzag though. I'm not going to put the label of minor 1 over at the high. I would want to see a candlestick reversal pattern before I'm comfortable that that's over. I think I probably need to actually put this on a weekly chart too. What a pain, but okay. And I have to view that on a semi-log scale. And there's going to be way too much detail in here. Okay, so this is the new alternate. Looking at the idea that primary 3 is not over. So this is the main weekly chart. Cycle 1, cycle 2. Within cycle 3, primary 1, 2, 3, 4 continuing. This is the alternate. Cycle 1, cycle 2, within cycle 3, primary 1, 2 and 3 incomplete with only intermediate 1 and 2. I think this is going to be an alternate simply because of the length of intermediate 1 compared to primary 1. If we go back to that monthly chart here, primary 3 was 19.36 times the length of primary 1. Here, if primary 3 is over, it's 15.27 times the length of primary 1. That's actually not too far off. That's what I would expect to be a reasonable rhyming relationship for Ethereum. But I want to consider all possibilities due to the change in my Bitcoin wave count. They're not actually that closely or reliably correlated, but they do tend to have major peaks and troughs together. Okay, let's have a quick look at XRP and then some classic analysis. I might need to do the same for XRP. I'm starting my wave count for XRP now down here at this low, 0.00404 in November 2015. From this low on up, I'm seeing a completed 5-wave impulse. And here, 3 is 85.52 times the length of 1, and 5 is 8.5 times the length of 3. So here, I have actually already made that change at the weekly chart level, and I did that a while ago because of this overlap. So I have cycle 1, cycle 2, cycle 3 begins here. I've got some really provisional targets for primary 3 and cycle 3. This is a very bullish wave count for XRP. Okay, from this low of intermediate 2 for XRP, at the daily chart level, this is intermediate 2, same low, now looking at a lower time frame. I've got 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. This looks like a triangle. Okay, this would be A, 1.05677. This would be C, which may not move beyond the end of A, 1.05. Okay, 264. No, it can't be. So this could be a zigzag. It can't be a triangle. You can't label this A, B, C, D, E, because C would move beyond the end of A, and for a contracting triangle, it may not even by a tiny bit. So that's not a triangle for XRP. It looks like a zigzag. I don't like the disproportion between minute 2 and minuet 2. This correction here is too big to be a lower degree and have the right look. I mean, the proportions aren't always perfect. You can't expect these wave counts with these markets will look perfect. Nothing's ever perfect like a textbook, but it should be closer than that. Okay. Before I decide what to do with that, I'm going to have a look at some classic analysis. Let's go over there to stock charts and have a look. Okay, let's look at Ethereum first. Let's start with a weekly chart. Here's a strong bull run for Ethereum. At the high, we saw some bearish divergence between price and RSI after RSI reached overbought and ADX reached very extreme, above 45 and above both DX lines. Pretty normal behaviour for these markets when they finish a bull run, and then we had a pretty good pullback. In percentage terms, it doesn't look like it's a huge amount because this is a log scale. Early on, we can see upward movement with declining volume. I noticed that repeatedly with these cryptocurrencies. A little bit of support from volume here and here on the weekly chart, but then declines here and again here. And then as we move toward the end, again, volume declined, yet price moved a considerable distance. These charts are really hard to read in terms of volume. ATR tends to support the upward movement toward the end. So now we've got some strong support here about 1780, resistance above 4380 for Ethereum. On balance, volume also tightly constrained. If this breaks out prior to price breaking above resistance, then I'd have a little confidence, or I'd be expecting it's very likely that price would then break above resistance. We see a little bit of support from volume for these 3 weeks here. That's actually impressive early on in a possible new bull run for Ethereum. I think ADX may still be declining, but I'll look at it next week and see if the number increases above 30.3. If it does, and it'll be increasing, the positive DX lines above the negative, that would indicate an upward trend, which has plenty of room to go before ADX becomes extreme and RSI becomes very extreme. For these markets, RSI can reach deeply overbought, not so much oversold though. Stochastics entering overbought, ATR overall flat. It increases with this upward movement, but it's been overall flat for the last little while. What about the daily chart? We're going to look at this movement now on the daily chart. Candlestick and a candlestick pattern here, but it lacked support from volume. A bearish candlestick pattern here, it did have support from volume, and then we see after a little bit of downward movement a morning star bullish candlestick pattern here. I'm not going to read this one as a bullish engulfing candlestick because this comes in the context of a sideways movement. This morning star comes in the context of a very short downward movement, so I will read that. I know it's a little bit subjective, isn't it? I'd rather err on the side of caution. I don't want to read candlestick, well, you shouldn't be reading candlestick reversal patterns as such if they come in the context of a consolidation. There needs to be something to reverse, so a bearish pattern should come in the context of an upward trend, and a bullish pattern should come in the context of a downward trend. Support holding about 2,900. The moving average situation for Ethereum is full ball bullish. The short is above the mid, is above the long. They're all positively sloped, and price is above all three. And now there's a bit of support from volume. This supports a bullish wave count, and here on balance volume is broken above reasonable resistance. This trend line has multiple tests, is somewhat long held, and it's almost horizontal, so that increases its technical significance. This is a reasonable bullish signal. ADX at this time frame is indicating an upward trend. RSI is overbought, but only just. It can reach deeply overbought and stay there for quite a while this market travels a considerable distance, so on its own absolutely not telling us this upward movement has to end. Stochastics overbought and ATR overall flat. It looks like Ethereum may well be in an upward trend. Let's have a look at that Elliott wave count. What did I have for that? So I think I'm going to lean to this alternate for Ethereum. I have two wave counts. The first one says it could just go sideways in a huge range for months before the next bull run begins. And this, which I think I'm going to swap over and call the main wave count, says the bull run's actually already just begun. It's in its very early stages. Okay, let's go and have a look at XRP. The weekly says there's an upward trend. And ATR did increase for this candlestick here. And I don't have ATR on this chart. I need to add that. It's still within a consolidation. Resistance still about 2.0, support about 0.85, volume offering a little support to upward movement. This is a strong upward week with support from volume. On balance, volume constrained as well. RSI back in neutral after this price extreme here, an extreme upward trend, but not very extreme, not as extreme as XRP can get. Pretty clear bearish divergence between these peaks between RSI and price. I think I would definitely lean toward a bullish wave count for XRP as well. Let's have a quick look at the daily chart level. I want to see a clearer break above resistance at 1.28 before I have confidence in that view though, and a little bit concerned with volume. But looking back at the weekly chart level, sometimes volume can decline in the reasonably early stages of a new trend. At the weekly chart level, it does here, it does again here. So on its own, resistance 1.28, support about 1.05. Volume not supporting upward movement though for XRP. Here, the last couple of days, hasn't broken well above resistance. I'd want to see a break above resistance for this one before I have confidence in that upward bull run beginning. On balance volume though, looks like it's broken above resistance, but this resistance line is pretty weak. It doesn't have much of a slope, but it's not long held and it's only got 3 prior tests, and the break isn't super clear. If we see a stronger break, then that would be a weak bullish signal. It may also come with a break above resistance from price. ADX declining, no clear trend. RSI neutral, plenty of room for a trend to develop. Stochastics neutral. ATR increases as price rises and then flattens off. So ATR increased through here and then it flattened off as price went sideways. So that's bullish. These couple of days of declining volume with upward movement. Energy may be released if price can break above resistance with a close above resistance. Preferably, I should also note this is an evening doji star bearish pattern. Previously, I want to see a close above this high actually, not just 1.28, so more like 1.35. If we can see a close above that point, I'd have a little confidence if XRP maybe in its next bull run. Let's go back to the Elliott wave count for that one. Yeah, that's the Elliott wave count as well. And looking at the bigger picture, yeah, I think it could go sideways for a bit, but I think for these cryptocurrencies, they may be in the earlier stages of a new bull run. That's my conclusion for this week. I'll update something more for you next week in the cryptocurrency world. I also just analysed with text and charts silver, and I put that on my website. I'll put a link for you below in the description box. So if you want to go and read some silver analysis, Elliott wave and technical, you can have a look over at Pure Elliott Wave. Thank you so much for watching.